Headwaters is brought to you by the Glacier National Park Conservancy.
Our purpose is to tell unexpected stories about how Glacier is connected to everything else. But today's bonus episode will be a little different. Instead of telling a story, I'm hosting a debate between Michael and Peri about the best activities to do in Glacier.
Ooh.
Hi, I'm Sophia. You're listening to Headwaters, a podcast from Glacier National Park.
I'm Peri.
I'm Michael.
Here in my hands, I have a ranger hat full of little pieces of paper with different activities you could do in Glacier National Park.
Okay.
I will pull one of these pieces of paper, and on it will be an activity, and whoever speaks first, that's their stance, and the other person has to argue the opposite.
Okay.
Here
Michael and I can get in a fight about anything.
That's the easy part. It's winning the fight. That's the hard part.
I'm ready.
So let's pull the first topic and get started.
Okay. Camping. Well, I love camping. That's my stance. If you come to a national park, odds are you're here to kind of disconnect from normal life, unplug, so to speak. Sounds corny, but how often do you get to wake up with the sunrise, go to sleep with the sunset, show off your ability or lack thereof to build a campfire, have s'mores? It's just the perfect national park experience.
Well, I hate camping. There are way too many bugs. Glacier can be very mosquito-y at certain times of year. Also, you say, great, you get to see the sunsets and wake up with the sunrise. In Glacier in the summer, that is too late and too early. You're not getting enough sleep. And fundamentally, you're paying someone to sleep on the ground. Hard pass.
I would give that one to Michael. I feel like bug spray's a thing. If I'm in my tent, I'm relatively safe from the bugs. I'm going to enjoy the great outdoors occasionally. I don't have to do it all the time.
Okay.
All right, floating/tubing. Love it. Floating the stretch of Lower McDonald Creek from Apgar to West Glacier is right outside my house and really easy to do after work. And I love that I get to see a part of the park that's right by my house, but from a totally different perspective than I would see it otherwise. Also, great birds.
I hate floating and tubing because it requires you to have two different vehicles. You've got to put one in where you start, and you have to park one where you get out, and you have to spend all that time, waste all that time, I would say, shuttling back and forth. Whereas hiking, you can start and end at the same place, no problem. There are loop hikes. There are not loop rivers. Anti-floating. You're just baking in the sun the whole time.
Personally, I didn't grow up near rivers, so I am loving them here. So I'm sorry, Michael, I have to side with Peri. Floating and tubing, it's pretty fun.
Too bad. All right, what's next? Stargazing. Well, I love stargazing, and here's why. I don't know the names of almost any constellations, and that doesn't matter. I can pick out the Big Dipper, the Little Dipper. Beyond that, it's just like Earth's screensaver. You can stare at it. It's mesmerizing. It's special to look for comets. What's better than staring up at the night sky?
Okay, night skies, thumbs up. Stargazing, thumbs down. You have to stay up way too late. Here in Glacier in the summer, it's not even fully dark till well after midnight. There's too much to be doing during the day. We don't have time to be stargazing at night. It's my bedtime.
During the daytime that she's so excited about, it's been like 95 degrees. Nighttime, cool 70s. Beautiful skies. And also, coffee exists, so.
I'm siding with Michael here.
Yes!
Yeah, love the stars here. You could see the Milky Way in Glacier National Park, which is pretty special. Yeah.
I'm glad I drew first on that one.
Okay, fishing. I don't have a lot to say about fishing. Those who've listened to season 2 will recall that the last time I went fishing, I was 6 and an alligator ate my bobber. So it's just adding work to another activity I'd rather be doing. Like, I'm floating down the river on a boat. I just want to enjoy that. It feels like a lot of work to be standing there waving a fishing rod around. Or if I'm like fly fishing, standing in the shallows, like I could just be swimming. or eating or picnicking, you know? I don't need it.
Well, I love fishing. It is one of the most meditative ways to gain a deep understanding of an ecosystem in Glacier. The park only encourages you to catch or touch one type of animal in the park, and it's fish. You're allowed to catch them. There are some that you aren't, but it's just such a unique experience in the park to be able to get to know the aquatic wildlife and have an excuse to just go stand in a river for 2 hours.
Michael, how many times have you been fishing in Glacier?
Twice.
Maybe I need to become a fish girl. I've never been fishing before, which is surprising for being from Texas. But your argument's pretty convincing, Michael. I know you can find out more information about fishing regulations on our website. So if anybody else is interested in hopping on the fish train, check it out.
Fish train.
No.
Driving, going to the Sun Road. Big fan. Love it. I mean, it's like the ultimate experience here. It's the experience that put Glacier on the map for people to come visit. It's where I would say 90% of the pictures of the park come from, is from driving, going to the Sun, maybe 75. And that is because you get to witness 3 different distinct ecosystems in one 2-hour drive. You get to have incredible wildlife sightings from the safety of your vehicle. From bears to bighorn sheep, mountain goats, you get to drive to over 6,600 feet. What's not to love?
Here's what's not to love: driving. What if you take a shuttle so you don't have to drive going to the Sun Road? You can see all those things, but you can spend way more time actually looking at them instead of having to spend all that thought and energy looking at the road, avoiding other cars and said bighorn sheep and mountain goats. And if you just sit on a shuttle and let someone else do the driving, you can appreciate the scenery. It's type 1 fun. There you go.
Honestly, the shuttle sounds pretty nice to me. Or being a passenger, I would say. Yeah, I'm siding with Peri on this.
All right, one more. Birding.
Oh,
I love birding. I love trying to figure out who they are, what they look like, who's singing. And you may not get to see a grizzly bear when you come here. I'm sure you won't see a mountain lion. A few of you might, but I never have. But almost everywhere you go in Glacier, you'll find birds. You can come at any time of year and see birds. And especially if you come in the spring, they're constantly singing and calling and just making this place richer and more beautiful.
well, here's my hot take on birding. I love birds. I mean, they are the soundtrack to our mental image of nature itself. But as you said, they are everywhere. I could see birds where I grew up in Ohio, and I can ID them and have a very similar experience. If I wanted to see a grizzly bear, I'd have to go to the zoo. So, birding in Glacier, it's fun to hear birds as you go out and hike, but it's not an activity in its own right. Birds are the background to experiences you could only have here and that people are coming from across the country to have because they can't have it at home. So that's my hot take on birding.
I'm never taking you birding again.
Honestly, Peri, your passion for birding speaks to me. There's hundreds of birds you could see here, and that's a very special experience. So I have to side with Peri here, Michael.
Okay. I disagree, but it has been decided.
It's okay. I won. You just accept it. I feel like we covered a lot, but there are so many other activities that we didn't talk about.
What's another activity?
I would say berry picking. I love picking huckleberries.
Classic.
It's an iconic part of a Glacier summer. Just wouldn't be the same without it.
If you are trying to plan a trip to Glacier and interested in what sort of activities you can find here, check out our website at nps.gov/GLAC, and it can help you plan a great trip.
We're hard at work on the next season of Headwaters. Stay tuned for bonus content like this and more episodes about your favorite national park.
Headwaters is made possible with support from our nonprofit partner, the Glacier National Park Conservancy. We are so grateful for all that they do for us. Check them out at glacier.org. And if you have a moment to leave us a review in your podcast app, that helps us so much. Thanks for listening.
You know what activity we missed? Podcasting. I mean, there are more activities here than we could cut up and put in a ranger hat. I like them all.
Me too. Despite everything that we just said.